We putting work, turning nothing into something. They feelings hurt, we turning nothing into something. Give a fuck if they don't like me, cause all this bread I count excites me. Turning nothing to something, nothing into something, turning nothing into something.
What up? What's going on, everybody? What is going on? You know what it is, man. It's Sunday night, so you know you're gonna have a little blunt thoughts. It's not gonna be an official blunt thoughts episode, but it's gonna be a little, winter meetings. First night of the winter meetings kickoff. Just, have a little chat, have a little reaction to nothing because nothing's going on. And I know we're all excited, especially as Met fans. We're anxious, we're excited, and we're hopeful. We're hopeful that stuff is gonna go down and that we're involved, right? There's plenty of rumors going around, that's for sure. Plenty of damn rumors going around. Again, like we said on Friday night, depends on what day it is. Depends on what day it is. Certain guys are available through trade. Then the next day they may be not available. Depends on what day it is. Depends on who you listen to. Maybe the Mets are interested. Maybe the Mets are not interested. We know one thing. Because of the ownership that we have now, we've expected that we're going to be linked to everything. We're going to be able to get a seat at whatever table we decide to get a seat, whether it be that free agency, whether it be trade, especially now that we have the farm system to back that up, right? To be able to go out there and make some moves. So, yeah, this is an exciting time. And we hope it turns out to be an exciting time. We're hoping it's an exciting time. We hope it turns out to actually be an exciting time. And we'll see. This is just the first day. All these people just getting out there, touching base, maybe some stuff that they talked before at the GM meetings. Now they go and revisit it and see how far along they've come, if they've moved along or not. Maybe some new stuff. Shout out to Cindy, man. Again, Cindy's a working woman, man. Work like every day, almost like me, but during the evening. Sometimes we do the evening, sometimes we don't. We appreciate you, Cindy, man. Thank you and I see your comments and everybody, man. I see the comments. Sometimes I'm a little late getting to the comments on the playback and all that good stuff. We appreciate you, man. I always say it takes a lot more work to go back and watch a replay than to actually watch live. I mean, and listen, we appreciate both. Both of them take work. You know what? Shout out to my guy Aaron, man. I seen he left some comments on a couple of the other shows, man. Aaron, man, appreciate you, man. Hope everything is well with your parents. I know, we've spoken out there in the parking lot. Is that the homie Lynn? Oh snap! What's up, Lynn? How you doing, man? It's been a while. What's going on? What up? How you doing? But yeah, man. Just here to kick it, just here to have a quick conversation. We're not going to be here too long, maybe 30 minutes or so. Because again, there's not really much to talk about. How much can we talk about the fact that the New York Mets need pitching? The New York Mets need starting pitching. The New York Mets not need starting pitching because they have starting pitching, right? They have depth. We just don't like the depth. But they have starting pitching. The New York Mets need an ace. But where's that ace going to come from, right? That's the question. Where's that ace going to come from? We know. We're going to talk about a little bit about a comment that Buck Showalter made. But Buck Showalter is part of Foul Territory. I forget what the segment that he's on is, whatever. But he's part of Foul Territory. I think he comes on like once a week or whenever the hell it is. He made a few comments. Oh my gosh, and I just lost my train of thought. But we're going to talk about something that he talked about. And I was just going to mention something else that he talked about that pertained to what I was talking about. But for some reason, I lost my train of thought. Oh, this is it. The fact that he emphasized something because AJ Persinski asked him, like, yo, what's up with David Stearns? And always trying to go. And they said, not the cheap way, but, trying to find the diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? Not going for the short thing, but going for how the hell I got the ringers off and this thing is still like, what the hell? And, always going for the diamond in the rough or trying to find something, you know what I'm saying? Instead of going for the short thing. And Buck said something that David Stearns has been saying, right? It's tough to go out there and find starting pitching, right? Not tough to find it. But you're always hesitant because And this is what Buck said. You put your hand over your head and you violently whip it down 100 times a game or whatever the case may be. That puts some wear and tear on your arm. And nobody wants to be the guy that's holding on to, or nobody wants to be the organization that's holding on to a player when that arm blows up. So that's where the hesitation comes to go out there and get guys. That's why you want to build these guys from within, right? And that's what David Stearns keeps telling us. We want to build from within. But then Buck said at the same time, for every 3 guys that you have down there, or every 3 high prospects or whatever, maybe 1 actually comes through for many reasons. Injury, work, dedication, whatever the heck it may be, talent doesn't play out, right? So it's going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Was listening to a little bit of Andy Martino, NSNY. You listen to here and there. And the more I listen, the more I wonder, is David Stearns and the Mets going to actually go out there and make a move for a free agent starting pitcher? Right? More and more, I think, unless, and again, depends on what day it is and depends on who's reporting. Either Scuba's available or he's not available. Either they're listening, they're not listening. Of course, they have to listen, right? All of this nonsense. Short of making a trade for Tyreek Scuba, and that depends on what the what the price is, right? Obviously, I don't see where we're gonna get that ace, because we still hear about Stearns and his hesitation to sign pitchers to long-term deals. As much as we can try to connect him to Framber Valdez, is Framber Valdez the guy that he's going to break the mold or break his usual tendency and give a long-term contract to, give a 6-7 year deal to? As much as I want Framber Valdez on the Mets, I'm not sure that that's the guy I want to give a 6-7 year deal to. How old is he? And I really, really want him. I really do. I really do. Not that, listen, I know we could debate whether he's an ace or not, but he could be there and he could be the short number 2 and help McClain ease into being that ace, in my opinion. But I see David Stearns, and I think I said this on Friday, be more inclined to make a move for Freddie Peralta if he's available. Because, yes, he's only available. He only has 1 year. But I think that's a guy that he could maybe feel that he could sign easier to an extension, maybe of the 3-4 year deals that he likes, maybe 5 years. And again, I'm not sure exactly how old he is. Let's see real quick. How old is this guy? So Valdez is 32. 30. Really? Holy smokes. 32 years old. 7 years. Is he out of his damn mind? 7 years. No way in hell. Dude. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm with Stearns if he doesn't want to do that. And that's what I'm saying. So as much as I think Framber Valdez will be a good addition to the Mets, I don't see how it happens. I don't see how it happens. Patty says, hell, definitely not 6-7 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we have to be fair. We have to be honest, right? When we like, oh, why David Stearns this, David Stearns that. We don't want to make these damn deals. I don't want to make a deal for 7 years for Framber Valdez. I don't give a damn about the money. Let them worry about the money. Steve Cohen, and you're not going to hear me talk too much about this crap, because I'm not too high. I'm not as high as everybody else on this whole casino and all of this crap. What is it called? Mets Park, whatever the hell it's called. I don't care. I don't care. Listen, if it was more like the Braves and stuff like that I hear what they do, but this whole casino stuff, I'm not sure I'm down for that, man. I'm weird. I'm not sure I'm down for that. But whatever. We're not going to get into that. What we know is the money's there. Jeffrey chimes in and says he would give Framber Valdez 6 years. You want to take him to 38 years old when, you know, we talk about Buck Showalter, talk about wear and tear. Hold on. Because you can't put no comments up when I take my glasses off. Now you're exposing me, bro. We were going to give a 26-year-old pitcher 12 years. So a 32-year-old pitcher can get 6 years. I totally understand what you're saying. I feel like that about giving Pete Alonso his deal, right? At the same time, the reason why you do that, right, is because you're going to get 26 to 32 from that pitcher that you give 12 years to. You're not getting 26 to 32 from Framber Valdez. You're getting a guy that already had that mileage in Framber Valdez and hoping that you could get maybe 3-4 years out of him while giving him 6. Would I be upset if they do it? Not really. Again, I like Framber Valdez. I want Framber Valdez. I'm just being honest. Call me what you call it? A flip flopper or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm just being honest. I can't say, yo, what the hell is up with David Stearns if I'm not really willing to make them type of deals. Michael King, that's another one that's interesting. Let me see. Michael King. And I know there's the element of Michael King, right? We get Michael King. We know where Michael King comes from, right? He was a New York Yankee. He was a New York Yankee up until they traded him in the Juan Soto deal. So, yes, I know there's the element for some fans. We go get Michael King after we got Juan Soto from the Yankees. And now look at that. We get probably the best player in that trade. Who was involved in that trade again? It was King. It was some kid from the minors. I don't know if he's come up or not. Pitcher, another pitcher. It was that catcher. Forgot his name. Backup catcher, whatever the hell it was. And who else? I forget who else was in that trade. But Michael King. Michael King, who is 30 years old. Anybody know what kind of deal Michael King is looking for? Let's see if we can see who be having that kind of stuff. Let's see what Spot Track, whatever the hell that shit is called. Let's see what they got projected for Michael King real quickly if we can find that. Oh wait, we really find off what is that called? Off the seat of our pants. This is gonna be one show. Hey, maybe we get some breaking news. We interrupt this program to tell you that the New York Mets have come to terms with damn, I couldn't think of a nondescript name that's out there as a free agent. Because that's the kind of shit that we would get while Heck is live. A freaking signing that we're gonna be like, what the hell is this? What are we doing again? What are we doing? What are we doing, Cersei? The Milwaukee Mets. The Milwaukee Mets. We'll get something like the New York Mets. Oh no. Hold on. Come on. Who's out here? All these freaking guys have signed. What's going on here? Nobody asked you for signed guys? Available. Let's see. The New York Mets and Alex Cobb have come to a 1 year, $12 million agreement or some stupid shit like that. That's what we'll get, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we'll get. The New York Mets and Rafael Montero. A reunion. But no, let's stop playing. What we were going to check? We were going to check Michael King, right? And man, what a horrible show right now, Heck. Why you do that to me? Why you couldn't show it to me over there? So Look at that. You know what? This might be along the lines of David Stearns for sure. 4 years. That's what Spojack says. 4 years for Michael King. 91 million. 22.9 AAV. Those are the deals that David Stearns likes. It might be a little rich for him though. But the years is definitely what he likes. Not commitment. And honestly, it's what I like. Not sure if Michael King is the guy that I like, but yeah. Now, I did want to real quick, and I listen, don't kill me, ladies and gentlemen. I know. One, I apologize again for the lighting. Using the lights for something else. Don't want to go get them. They did have a hot stove or a winter meetings edition of whatever they had on SNY. So I did want to share some clips here and react to that. The first one I got here is because the theme is what's next, right? What are we gonna do next? I have a question for everybody. So don't go anywhere. I have a question, a very interesting question for everybody. But what's next? You know what? No, I don't want to ask that yet. What up? What up? Everybody's doing the what up? You know what? That's funny that a few of you guys have done the what up. I appreciate that. Let me tell you something. Quays knows. I've actually was telling Quays that yo, my guy, this is blunt thoughts. If you because Quays is behind the scenes, right? So he's like, no. Listen, I told Quays, yo, I'm about to drop the what up. I don't even know how the what up started, right? I don't even know how the what up started. I'm pretty sure I got it from somewhere. I think it's Martin, but I'm not sure. I must have heard this somewhere. That's how I start the show. That's how I start my videos, whatever. But, and maybe these people, you know, and maybe I should be flattered. But I see a few people doing the what up now, and I'm like, yo, what the hell? But again, maybe I should be flattered by it, and maybe I shouldn't think like I definitely didn't originate that. But I was like, maybe I should drop the what up. But the fact that so many of you have popped in here and done the what up tells me, hell no, heck, you can't drop the what up. But appreciate you guys, man. Back to the matter at hand. I did want to ask a question, man. And shout out to the 170 plus of you beautiful people up in here. Let's double that. Again, if you're in here, make sure you share it with somebody else, at least one other person. You know what I mean? If you could do two, even better. Your friends, frenemies, your uncles, your aunts, your nieces, your nephews, your stepchild. Don't leave. We meet more people. Anyway, shut up, Heck. So, on this show on SNY, they asked Andy Martino, every Met fan's most favorite Met insider, where will the Mets go if for whatever reason Edwin Diaz signs elsewhere? And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm surprised that Edwin Diaz is still out there, and I will be surprised if Edwin Diaz goes through this week. But you're hearing that Edwin Diaz might be available for a long time, that his situation might drag. I'm not sure why, but I don't know. But anyways, they asked him, where would the Mets go? I don't really want to hear this crap because I want Diaz back. But this is what he had to say. And again, this is Andy Martino, SNY. I don't know what the show was called tonight. I really don't. But here we go.
But if Diaz ultimately does get that 4th or 5th year deal somewhere else, where do the Mets go? Hey, they're talking to Robert Suarez and Pete Fairbanks. And as I was saying before to your first question, Steve, they're engaged in the top of the relief market. So they could go there. But for the same reasons of David Stearns' rationality and desire for deals that make sense, it's not like a sure thing it's going to be one of those guys either, depending on where those markets go. They're in pretty good shape in the back end of the bullpen right now. Now they've signed Williams and Williams, Brooks Raley, who was so dominant coming back from Tommy John last year, AJ Minter, who's expected back. That's a great place to be right now. And they're going to add somebody else. Might be one of those guys I mentioned, might be Edwin. They are an organization also that has an increasing amount of confidence in itself to find undervalued assets, use their pitching resources to turn them into, star players. So it's not. It could be a star, it could be a former all-star, but it could also be people who we might not target at the beginning of the year as like a big name, and the Mets could turn someone into a big name. So a lot of different ways they could still go here.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Again, I want Edwin Diaz back. And listen, yes, AJ Minter, Brooks Raley, I forget the other guys, whatever, Devin Williams. And if you sign one or both of those guys, it sounds like it could be a strong bullpen. But then again, you're counting on a lot of guys to come into New York City and perform at a high leverage, in high leverage situations, right? Even Devin Williams, I have trepidation over. We saw Juan Soto come over and struggle and have to adjust a little bit to playing in Queens as opposed to the Bronx. And he didn't have not even a hitch with the Yankees. Devin Williams did. And we went through the whole Devin Williams thing and the numbers, and you can't argue the numbers. And if he ends up being our closer, we're going to root for him. But listen, sign Edwin Diaz and go get a P. Fairbanks. I'm not going to say sign Edwin Diaz and get a Robert Suarez. But why not Diaz and Fairbanks? Let's go crazy. Let's go crazy. Let's see what else. The other question is, which I know is on everybody's mind, and we're tired of it. We're tired of it. And I've said it. I hate the fact, I said the other day, man, MLB and about 26 other owners, and maybe the Dodgers probably don't give a damn. Shit, maybe 28 other owners and teams are happy as hell because there's no bigger luxury tax or penalty or anything that you can impose on the New York Mets than them having David Stearns as their freaking president of baseball ops. And the fact that he don't want to spend money, man. Let's go crazy. Responsibly crazy, though. Responsibly crazy. But what David Stearns and some people want to say Scott Boras have done to Pete Alonso's market is disgusting. Shout out to my guy Anthony. I hit that podcast who just texted me asking me if I want to come on with them on Tuesday. I'll see what's up, Ant. I might do it. I'm going to be doing shows every night during winter meetings. That's the plan. Maybe Tuesday night we don't do our own, and I'll come on with you guys because I know you've been asking me for a couple of weeks, but it'd be hard for me on Tuesday nights. So let's see what's up. Just behind the scenes shit live right here and in person. Just because I saw the text message pop up. But where are we going to go? If miraculously Pete Alonso is able to create a market, Scott Boras is able to create a market for himself and finds something close to what he's looking for, which let me tell you guys right now, I'm not believing the crap from Mike Puma earlier in the offseason talking about Pete Alonso is looking for 7 years, and some people are still throwing that crap out there. Come on, man. Come on. You can't be that dumb. Pete can't be that dumb. Scott Boras can't be that dumb. You want to tell me they're still looking for 6 years? Okay, I'll buy that. You cannot be looking for 7 years, Pete. You're not going to get 7 years from nobody. Maybe in Japan, bro. Go to Japan and see if you get 7 years. Cut the BS and let's get realistic. But it upsets me that the Mets have muddied Pete so much, his market so much, that he's not able to get any traction out there. It's incredible. And whatever, man. But because whatever. Hey, Hector, the market speaks. Nobody really values it, Peter. I get it. Anyways, where would we go if Pete walks? Alonso gets 3 to 4 years. Pete gets 4 years. You really think? Shout out to you, Josh. Thanks for joining us, man. You really think Pete Stearns is going to wait him out? I mean, listen. I said that early on too. But at the same time, shoot, can we just wait around? What if guys start getting signed? You had Mark Feinstein today say it on MLB Network that he feels like the big domino that's going to fall first and is going to fall during his winter meetings to kick things off is going to be Kyle Schwarber. And then you had other guys commenting throughout the night that Pete's market depends on Kyle Schwarber. After Kyle Schwarber's done, then Pete's market become more clear. So how long do you wait Pete out? Once Kyle Schwarber's gone, do the Mets, does that signal some urgency for the Mets? I don't know. Or is he going to just stand his ground? He meaning David Stearns. Said, dude, I'm not going more than 3 years. I don't give a damn what the hell's going on. I'd rather move on with Jeff McNeil and Mark Vientos at first base. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Ronnie Mauricio with the walk-off home run, who gets my vote. Bring that back, Kweisi, for the third baseman of the future of the New York Mets. Other teams know that the Mets and the Lions are always exactly. That's what I always say too. When other people say, "Oh, but he ain't getting," no team is making him any offers or anything like that, because I think at the end of the day, teams know that Pete wants to be a New York Met above all. I think most teams know that, and they don't want to get involved in that nonsense. But it's like, to me, it's like, why? Damn it, why? Help raise my guy's price. Jeffrey says the Mets will sign Schwarber, and if Pete is still around in February, they will sign him too. Because Pete is not a priority. That's the bottom line. Pete is not a priority. And to me, he should be the priority. Are we positive? I know Eddie. Eddie was in here. I know Eddie is like gun-ho for Schwarber. And listen, I think the power plays. But Schwarber's like 3 years older than Pete, no? You think you're funny, Kweisi? What up, heck? Schwarber to the Mets. Anyways, let's play this audio real quick. Talking about where the hell the Mets are going to go if Pete Alonso signs elsewhere.
If Alonso doesn't sign with the Mets, though,
Right.
where do they go to fill that huge power gap?
Well, the timing could get tricky here, because if Alonso's out there in the timetable that we're suggesting, then what's going on with your Bellingers or your Kyle Schwarbers? And those are two players who I would not by any stretch rule out for the Mets. I think, again, timing-wise is a little tricky, and Bellinger's represented by the same agent as Alonso, and he plays first. So these things, to untangle them, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But in terms of replacing Alonso's production, if not being one of the few guys that can better it. I would not, as I said before, I would not rule out Schwarber. I know the Phillies are really in on him, but this is Schwarber's last chance at a long-term contract too. So if the Mets decide that that's a lane where they want to get aggressive, and I'm not saying that they will, but that's a place that could get interesting.
I think this is just an interesting conversation for this time of the year, honestly, because Kyle Schwarber is a guy that anybody would say, I'd love to have that guy in my uniform with a bat in his hand, 500 times in a season. And as a DH, certainly the Mets have not had a bona fide DH and a left-handed power guy that they can rely on in that role. So, yeah, is he a great fit? Yeah. Will he come to the Mets? I think that's less than likely.
Probably a stretch.
Right? Yeah. I think it's a bit of a stretch, and I think most likely he tries to stay in Philly if he can. And I think the timing is the interesting thing, because if the Mets going to go all in to steal him away from the Phillies when maybe Alonso's still out there, I doubt that.
I will say this too, just because it is the fun conversation to have right now, and I agree with you. I think a lot of people expect that Schwarber will end up back with the Phillies. If the Mets swooped in and grabbed Kyle Schwarber, you could absolutely see Philly going and making a play then for Pete Alonso, right? Couldn't you see that happening?
That'd be a fun little swapperoo for next season for entertainment purposes. And, I would say, Steve, too, real quick, that Pete's been here a long time. Edwin's been here a long time. So there probably is some temptation, even though they love these guys, to see, like, well, we already traded Nimmo. What's a different culture look like? What's a different makeup of the clubhouse? So that's where that gets interesting to me, too.
Yeah, sure does.
Already traded Nimmo. So Todd Zeal's not buying the Kyle Schwarber to the Mets. Obviously, the obvious pivots would be Cody Bellinger, Kyle Tucker, Schwarber, right? Eddie says 100% shake up the core. You know what? Let me ask you guys something. Other teams that don't want to be used to raise Pete's price because they don't think Stearns is stupid enough to lose a franchise player. But thing is, he is that stupid. Shout out a Game for War, man. Good to see you. Oh, man. And we've almost doubled. What was it that we had? 170? Let's double this 240 plus of you beautiful people, damn it, before we get out of here in about 5-10 minutes, if we're lucky. Holy crap. Kweisi, I told you 30 minutes, dude. I told you 30 minutes. You don't know how to do a 30-minute show, bro. Yo, but we all gonna get out of here soon. But here, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Since Martino's talking about maybe this guy walking, and you already traded Brandon Nimmo, so what about shaking the core, right? You still have the last show I talked about the new Mets. Eddie's saying shake up the core. I have a question for everybody. Because again, we're hearing, and I gotta be honest. When it was first being talked about, Ketel Marte, I'm like, are the D-backs gonna really trade him? Well, now Ketel Marte looks like it might really be available. So my question is this: did David Stearns jump the gun? Did he screw up by making a trade for Marcus Semien? If Marte ends up getting traded and we're not involved, did Stearns drop the ball by making that trade too early? People thought, oh, he has a plan. But David Stearns himself said, no, we just made this trade because it came available and we felt like we needed to make the move. It was available now. Everybody thought, oh, there's a follow-up move that he got. He's like, there's really no plan. Did he drop the ball? If we can't now get into the Marte sweepstakes? How old is Ketel Marte? Now, that may be Jim Shoes. That may be. I don't know. But how old is Marte? He's that old? He ain't that old. What are we talking about here, Jazz? Shout out to everybody in the room, man. Shout out to everybody in the room. Let's see. What's Ketel? Ketel is 32. 30, but he doesn't have a crazy contract. You're talking about price and what you want to call it? In prospects. You know what? You want me to tell you how I feel about prospects? Prospects become suspects. Now, I would worry. Flip Simeon. What's going on, Prisk? Oh, Big A? Flip Simeon for what? What the hell are we going to get from him? And after you made this whole big deal about freaking his leadership and all of that, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. So Ketel Marte has 5 years left for reasonable money. This guy's getting freaking $20 million a year, basically $22 million a year. Come on. 16 million in 26, 12 million in 27. What the hell? That's crazy. 20 million in 28, 22 and 29, 22 and 30. A player option for 11, 5, and 31. So technically he has what? 4 or 5 years left? Yeah, well, that's ship has sailed. You're not going to get Corey Seager. We're now on to Ketel Marte. So forget about Corey Seager. Simeon only costed, I don't know about that bad Nimmo contract stuff. Still, if we're talking about just the ball player, not the fact of whatever, issues he's had over there in Arizona and the clubhouse and all of that stuff, and maybe him being able to play in New York. If we're thinking about just a player, I'm going to take the short thing, the guy that I know what he is every time over prospects and hope and projections. I'm sorry. We're talking about a guy with a 281 career average. Are you kidding me? Who averages what? Okay, 23 home runs, 77 RBIs, but from a second baseman, I'll take that. 823 OPS. Give me that. Give me that. Over any of these damn prospects, honestly. But it's probably something that's not going to happen, so we're wasting our breath. Right? Because we've already made our move for our second baseman. So you're saying he's not going to get traded then, Lito? If not many are meeting that price. 3 top 10? 3 top 10 and Beatty? I don't give a damn about Beatty. You can trade Beatty's ass. I think we should be actively looking to trade Beatty anyways. It's fascinating to me how Beatty's a short thing now. Because Beatty finished strong. I heard earlier today on one of these shows. What the hell did they say? But it's like, all of the same crap. A lot of the same things that you were hearing after Viento's great year, which was 100 times better than Beatty's dynamic year. 100 times better. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Mark Viento's breakout year was 100 times better than what the hell Brett Beatty did last year. And everybody want to now talk about Brett Beatty's a short thing. Let me see now Brett Beatty bounce back. Let me see how he's going to handle prosperity now. And teams really focusing on him. Let me see that. And then once he stinks at the plate, if that happens, let me see him not take it out onto the field. And then when he gets sit and yo-yoed around again, let me see how he handles that. Brett Beatty's a short thing, the third baseman of the future. Give me a damn break. Again, like I said early on. Now, I'm not saying to you. I'm just saying, in general, give me a damn break with Brett Beatty. And I'm rooting for him. He's a Met. Beatty's the future. Come on, Big A. Stop. Go do some more Hall of Fame crap, bro. My guy Big A be texting me about the Hall of Fame. Vientos is a stiff. All right. Everybody, man, y'all gonna eat your words on Vientos. Watch, whether it be with the Mets or somewhere else. But y'all gonna eat your words. And let me tell you something. Mark Vientos, because of the potential and the price and the team control and all that stuff, has a better chance of being around than most of you think. Tell you that right now. It fits David Stearns and what he wants. Value, 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 value. He may not have trade value, but he has value. Trust me. And I think Mark Vientos is going to make a lot of people eat their words. Whether it be here or somewhere else. And I hope it's here. I hope it's here. Because I still believe in Mark Vientos. We'll see about Brett Beatty. We'll see about Brett Beatty. I wouldn't mind Brett Beatty at first base. He's got the height, the glove if they get Schwarber. I wouldn't mind seeing Brett Beatty in the damn trade. That's what I wouldn't mind. I'm not buying Brett Beatty. Mark Vientos to Miami in an Alcantara trade. Okay. Couldn't be mad at that. Right? Couldn't be mad at that. But Alcantara better come in and be that ace. Jeffrey says, I would trade Vientos, Beatty, and Acuna. I don't know about Vientos, bro. I don't know about Vientos. Let's see. I got one more audio clip, and then my little thing with Buck. Something that Buck said that stood out to me that I found very interesting. That I found a little interesting. And I'm wondering, did Buck Showalter take a shot at Carlos Mendoza? We'll see in a second. One last clip from everybody's favorite Mets insider, Andy Martino. As the question is, what the hell are the Mets going to do about starting pitching? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Here we go.
What is the balance that he is willing to go of trading for that top end starter if he's available without necessarily giving up the type of prospects that it would take? Where does he fall in that? That to me, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But that to me is where it's the most interesting.
I don't know the answer to that either at the end of the day, Steve, but my sense here from covering this offseason so far is that the Mets do understand that you have to give to get. And whether it's a Sprode or a Tong, I think they're not eager to move any of these guys, but they know that might be necessary. I would only put Nolan McLean, that's what I sense, in a different category where it's like that would have to be like Paul Skeens or Walter Johnson or somebody like that. But you're not trading Nolan McLean. Otherwise, I think they understand they got to talk about guys.
Hey, make sure we tell the fans, Walter Johnson is not available. He's off the trade market this week.
He's just as available as Skeens, unfortunately, for the Mets.
You don't have to give anybody, though, if you sign a free agent. So what about the free agency market?
Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to – I don't know if Stearns is ever going to shop at the high end of the free agency market, Steve, for the reason that you just stated. He believes in developing those guys and then signing them maybe to a first-generation extension rather than the second-generation free agent contract. I still do think that they could fill rotation spots with free agents. A guy like Merrill Kelly, a guy like Ranger Suarez, a little higher end, but he doesn't have that velo that makes him in maybe a 1. But they could be in the market for guys for 2, 3, 4 spots in free agency. I could see that. Gallen, Kelly, guys that have upside and give you innings.
Listen, I could deal with what one innings eater because I think we lack the innings eater. That is a fact. We lack the innings eater. We do need a surefire innings eater. You can't count on none of these guys to eat innings, right? Nolan McLean, we're hype. We want him to be our ace. We expect him to be an ace. We think he's going to be an ace. How many innings is he going to pitch? You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some limit to what he does this year. It's going to be his first full season in Major League Baseball. Are we gonna come with Shamanai to give us substantial innings, give us 170 plus innings, 180 innings? Nobody gets to 200 innings. Forget about that. How about Kodai Senga? Is it David Peterson? I forget who the hell had the most innings for the Mets last year. Let's see if we can find that real quick. Real quick. But the point is, we could use an innings eater. But those names that he mentioned don't really excite me too much. Valdez, definitely an innings eater. Listen, but I guess I'm forgetting him because I want Valdez as an innings eater and as somebody that can go be towards the top of the rotation. Shout out to my guy Anthony, Subway to Shay. And sorry, couldn't support this morning for other reasons, but you're my guy. We need a legit ace, period. End of story. They can't keep fiddling around with threes and fours. 100%, my guy. But the problem is there really an ace in free agency? Ranger Suarez doesn't excite me. Framber Valdez, I like, but is he a surefire ace? We could debate that, right? On the Mets, he probably would be until Nolan McLean pushes him. And that wouldn't be a bad thing. So to go get that ace, again, is he available through trade? Is a Skubal available? Is a Joe Ryan available? And I said the other day on Friday, Eddie, Anthony, Subway to Shay, anybody else that wasn't here on Friday, what am I missing with Joe Ryan? What am I missing with Joe Ryan? Because I go and I look at the numbers, I look at FIP, I go and expected FIP, expected this, ERA that nobody likes to look at anymore. And I don't see an ace. I don't see somebody that I'm going to say, yeah, this guy goes in the top of my rotation. No F, ands, it's a buts. Freddy Peralta, that's through trade again. I guess. I mean, I know he's the ace. He's an ace in Milwaukee, right? I wouldn't be upset. Joe Ryan is a number 2 or 3, says Jazz. Right. So what's this thing like Joe Ryan? Oh my God, yeah. Like I want a freaking ace. Thank you, Ant. I was gonna look that up, but I'm too slow. I even stopped. David Peterson led us in innings pitched, 168. Clay Holmes, look at that. Clay Holmes, 165. You would expect Peterson to make a bump and be better and not tire out this season. We got to see what Clay Holmes is going to do. Now, in my opinion, Clay Holmes had a hell of a year last year. Clay Holmes is probably our best starting pitcher from day one to the last day of the season. But now it's going to be his second year as a starter. He was able to handle the innings jump last year. How does his body handle it this year? Is he going to tire out like David Peterson did, making his first big innings jump? That's going to be interesting to me. Yo, shout out to all of you guys, man, and gals. We got over 320 plus of you beautiful people up in here. Appreciate you guys and gals. But who's that ace? Who's that ace? And then Anthony says, I'm not going to give up time for Ryan. And that says a lot. He's got to go for a Skubal Peralta. That's what I was going to say, too. Because I think David Stearns will feel kind of the same way. And that was what I was going to say next, is how much we keep hearing about how they want to build these starters from within. They want it to come up from within. And how much they believe in these guys. I think it's going to take a lot coming in for them to part ways with these young guys. Not only that they believe in, but that you're going to have. Appreciate that, Patty. Yes, hit that thumbs up button. But these guys, these young guys, that if they turn out, shoot, they're all not going to be aces, right? They're all not going to be aces. But let's say you get a 1, 2, and a 3 out of Tong, Sproat, and McLean, or Tong, McLean. I mean, McLean is always number one. McLean, Sproat, and we forget about what's the other kid that came up last year and had the surgery. Oh my gosh, Christian Scott, right? And there's still some other younger guys. Is Wenninger, what is it? He's another young pitcher, right? Starter. But let's focus on these guys right now. Right? If you think that you could get a 1, 2, or 3, or a 1 and a 3, I sound like Mania like that time when Mania was doing anyone a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6, and they made fun of him. Anyways, then it's gonna be hard for you to part ways. I'm telling you, man. I don't know what's gonna happen. Again, we're expecting a lot of things. We're excited. There's been a lot of rumors. We're involved in all the rumors because of the ownership that we have right now. That some people, I forget who it was on Friday, was trying to say he's been a bad owner, and I'm like, no, he hasn't been a bad owner. You can't say Steve Cohen has been a bad owner. Steve Cohen makes it so that we feel right now like we have a chance at any damn body. At Cleepy789, man, appreciate you, man. Yeah, there is super chats, super stickers, all of that good stuff. I don't even know what all that stuff is called. Like I said, we appreciate it. Anything that comes through is gonna go back towards the people, whether it be a tailgate, whether we buy tickets for fucking 20 people and we invite the first 20 that claim them, whatever the hell it is. We ain't gonna do all that unless we get tons of contributions, but we appreciate it. As Clippy789 says, I think the free agent market belongs to Cohen. Cashman is going to make trades. Cohen has a money glitch, aka casino license. Cohen can win it now. Yes, I kind of alluded to that earlier, but I was watching something on YouTube. I think it was yesterday, man, and I'm terrible because I can't even reference it because I don't remember who the hell the person was. I don't remember what it was or anything like that, but it was talking about the casino and all the processes that had to go through and the applications and approvals and blah, 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 blah. And I was also listening. This I do remember. David Sampson, who's a jerk, honestly. That dude's a jerk. And he was mainly saying, like, yo, the whole casino thing, like, it really has no impact. It really has no impact on the day-to-day operations of the New York Mets. You know what I'm saying? Like, Steve Cohen could do what he gonna do regardless. So go out there and do it, Stevie. Go out there and do it. Now, here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen, before as we get ready to wrap up here. We're gonna get out of here in an hour. Golly. But I want to get on this Buck and then Buck take a shot at Mendy. But this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. But I think this year it's really happening. You want ownership like we have, like the Dodgers have, that provides all the resources in the world, right? No holds barred, no limits. But you want that ownership to let the people they hired to empower them to go out there and run the team as they see fit. And I think that's what's happening right now. So I really believe in my heart, if David Stearns says, hey, I'm not going past 3 years for Pete Alonso or Edwin Diaz at this price, Steve Cohen is going to back him up. I don't think we're going to get what we got last year, where the fans went nuts at Amazing Day, and Steve Cohen said, you know what? Let's go to Florida and sit down with Pete Alonso and see what the hell is going on. I could be wrong. But again, I don't also necessarily think that's a bad thing. Not that that's going to happen. I don't want that to happen. But the fact that Steve Cohen is letting David Stearns run the organization as he sees fit. Now, it's going to frustrate the hell out of me along the way. It already has. And it will frustrate me if both Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz walk, or even if one of them walks. But guess what? I was a Met fan before them, and I'm going to continue to be a Met fan long after them. And that goes for any of these players. And I'm always going to root for the New York Mets and hope that we get what we all want, which is a parade down the Canyon of Heroes. That's it. That's the bottom line. We'll see what steps David Stearns takes this week and this off season to make that happen. Real quick, before we get out of here, real quick, I've been teasing it enough. I want to listen to this real quick with you guys because this was interesting to me. This was interesting to me and a little eye-opening.
Liked you. Tom Kelly didn't like you. TK
hold
was
on real quick.
TK was
Hold on real quick. Just because I want to let people know what they was talking about. So they were talking about the differences in how baseball's run now as opposed to back in the days, right? Where the manager used to call the shots. The manager would say, get this guy out of here. Get me this guy. Get me that guy more than anything. And the GM will respond to that as opposed to now where it's more like, yo, these are your players. Make it happen. And we're going to tell you how to make it happen. We're going to give you input on the lineup. We're going to give you input on how to use the bullpen and so on and so forth, right? So this was kind of the conversation. But you guys know, let me tell you guys something. Watching this, it was about 20 minutes of Buck Showalter. There was one good thing. The audio was a lot better than it was on SNY where we could barely hear his ass. Second, he wasn't mumbling, thank you, Buck. So you could actually hear what the hell he was saying because Buck had a tendency to mumble a lot in the post-game press conferences when he was managing the New York Mets. But third of all, he kept it real to this, where they ask Buck one thing and Buck talks about a whole totally different shit. He did that a whole bunch of times, and this was kind of one of those situations right here, as he pivoted from front offices and manager and calling the shots as players into what he said here. And then, go ahead, Quays, I think took a shot at my guy Mendy. What's up, Buck? You got beef?
was out on you. You were out. Nowadays, that it seems like it's almost the other way. The GMs go and say, "Hey, Buck, here's your players. Make them work." Right? And it used to be the other way. So, explain how that has changed and why it's changed.
Well, along that subject, when I see guys giving up coaches, hey, the manager's coming back, but 4 or 5 coaches aren't coming back. That's why I left the Yankees years ago, because I knew the respect I would have in the clubhouse was gone. All the things I asked them to believe in. So it still drives me crazy when I see a manager go, okay, take my pitching coach, take my hitting coach, take my third base coach, but as long as I'm still here, I don't know how you get through that. So when you start giving people up.
Is that a shot at Mendy? Is that a shot at Mendy? Talk about Mendy just gave up his guys. Now, here's the thing that I say to that. Those weren't Mendy's guys. Those weren't Mendy's guys, right? He didn't hire most of these guys. He had a part in hiring John Gibbons as the bench coach. Half of them was inherited. Chavez and Barnes were inherited. I forget about the third. Well, no, the third base and first base coach they hired as well. So I guess there's a little bit of both there. But then Buck, I think takes an even bigger dig with what he says coming up.
Your credibility in the clubhouse. Hey guys, I'm going to be there for you. Wait a minute, you weren't there for that pitching coach that you said was the greatest thing ever.
You weren't there for that pitching coach that you said was the greatest thing ever. We know that Mendy, as well as the organization, but they kept propping up Jeremy Hefner, how great he was. Was that a shot by Buck and Mendy? I don't know. But I think it's interesting what he's saying, though. I do think it's interesting what he's saying. And how do the players look at that? Does the manager lose a little credibility? Do the players give a damn? Do the players understand the dynamics of how things are done nowadays? I don't know. Also, we've assumed all of this time. We'll bring that back real quick. bring me here, Quays. We've assumed all of this time that the getting rid of the coaches was just a front office thing. Hey, maybe Mendy was on board. Mendy did bring up how, what the hell, we're not making adjustments in game to game as far as hitting. Maybe he had it with Chavez and those guys. Maybe he was on board with getting rid of Hefner. We know he leaned on Hefner a lot. Maybe he felt like, you know what? This guy's screwing me. Enough. And Measy, where you was at? I was looking for you Friday so we could argue, bro. Now you want to come in when I'm about to leave? What's up? Good to see you, my guy. But I thought this was interesting. Bring it back, Quays. Let's play the rest of it. I thought it was interesting. I think it's interesting.
So
I really do.
I think the collaboration, when the players know that the manager and the coaches have no input on player evaluation, it makes for a different mindset in a clubhouse. And I think that's what a lot of front offices don't realize. When the players know that Tom Kelly has no input at all on their future, there's a different dynamic in your clubhouse.
Yeah, Tom Kelly, when he finally did get let go, the Twins came to him and said, hey, we want to get rid of your pitching coach. His name was Dick Such. And he's like, no, it's either both of us or none of us. And they said, well, and then so Tom Kelly obviously resigned, retired, whatever you want to call it. He still worked for the organization.
But
he wouldn't go down with it.
I had Brian Butterfield, Mark Connor. I can go right down the list. Willie Rand, the people they wanted. And I said, no. And Mr. Steinbrenner, next thing I know, I was headed to Arizona.
We all know that. But that's that. I don't know. I thought that was maybe a little shot by Buck at Mendy, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just a thought that he has that it just came up because of the question they asked him or the subject matter. But I do find Eddie says 100% shots fired. I do find it interesting though, and it'll be interesting to see as the year plays out. Listen, there were people that felt that Mendy lost the locker room last year. They lost the clubhouse last season, and now Buck is saying that could lead even more to losing the clubhouse. It's going to be interesting. Again, we assume that the front office is the one that made the changes by themselves. Maybe Mendy was on board. Whether he was on board or not, obviously the result is that he stayed and they were gone. So there is a little bit of what Buck is saying. Hey, you want to get rid of those guys? Fine, as long as I'm still here. That's all I care about. But hey, it's survival. You gotta look out for yourself. Again, shout out to Clippy again, man. Appreciate you. Winning solves all of your issues. That is definitely the bottom line. Just win. That is the bottom line. Unfortunately, the 2025 New York Mets didn't do enough of that. So at least for the kind of off season that we have right now, where again we're hoping for fireworks, and we'll see if we get them. 9-1 of winter meetings so far has been a dud. Now, the thing with these meetings is they're not in Vegas. So hopefully we don't go to sleep and wake up at 2 a.m. because it's 11 o'clock or whatever the hell it is out in the West Coast and they're still cooking. And we're like, holy crap. The Mets signed Diaz, Alonso, and Schwarber? Shit, I was asleep. And then again, if they do that, who the hell cares what time they do it, right? What time did they sign Carlos Correa? It was like almost damn 3 a.m. we found out about Carlos Correa. Way back when. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever the hell that was. So we'll see what happens. We're going to try to come along with you pretty much every night through this winter meetings, and hopefully we get some news to react to. Hopefully we get something live, but whether it's live or not, hopefully we get something to have a good conversation about. Tonight, again, it's more the same old. Where the Mets going to pivot if they don't sign Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso doesn't have a market right now. The Red Sox are believed to be the next team mostly interested besides the Mets, if the Mets are interested at all. At what interest level for the Red Sox? Who knows? Yeah, I know. I was going to actually text you, Eddie. Why didn't you go? I know it's Eastern Standard Time. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's not like when they were in Vegas. Wasn't it in Vegas last year or a couple of years ago, whatever? Or I know sometimes it's in Vegas. It's a little bit different, you know. We ain't gonna get none of that. That's the good thing, is what I'm saying. But then again, it may happen anyways. Yeah, why not? I don't think you have to sneak in. Fuck that. You can just go in. It's a hotel. It's open lobby. At least build some connects. I know you got your own thing now, Mets Addiction, but you know, throw the scraps my way, if anything. Anyways, man, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are the best, man. You guys are the best. Over 390, you beautiful people. I know partially it's because you're bored. You see a Mets thing on, you're like, let's see what this dope is talking about. But we appreciate you anyways. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. And again, we'll be here throughout the week. We may be joining my guy Anthony from I'd Hit That Podcast on Tuesday. We may do our own thing that day anyways too. Either way, you'll be seeing my ugly mug a lot this week. And hopefully it'll be for good conversation. Hopefully we'll be reacting to some signings, some trades, or some players that we do know, not no guys that we got to look up and who the hell is this, that barely their family even knows they're in Major League Baseball. But we'll see. Still the same question. Still the same objective. Go out there, get an ace. Keep bolstering the bullpen. To me, I think an ace and the innings eater. An ace and the innings eater. Because we can't count on any of these guys to eat innings. Ace, innings eater, Diaz, Pete Alonso. And a left fielder. And let's rock and roll, baby. Unless we're going to see if you bring Pete back. Maybe you could toy around. Holy crap. Was maybe starting the year with Jeff McNeil in left field while Carson Bench comes up and takes over. Ugh, disgusting. Or you go out there and you get a stopgap. Keep hearing about the A's. Listen, I look at the A's. The A's got a lot of bats. Get a bat from them. Give them a pitcher. Or whoever else. But we'll see what happens, man. And maybe the move is to keep breaking up the core and build a new core with the two guys that are polar opposites. Stop playing, heck. And Lindor and Soto. And whichever one of these young guys actually comes up and joins them as a core, and you bring, I don't know. But you let Pete walk, you let Diaz walk, you trade Jeff McNeil, and you continue to build the new Mets in David Stearns' eyes. Good night, everybody. As always, thanks again. Appreciate you. You already know what it is. At FGM all day, every day. Have a good Sunday night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace.
Full of animals and we made ourselves with minimal. Fuck you, no subliminals. Putting in this work, nigga. That's why they feelings hurt, nigga. Swear we need a hearse cause we rep our shites to the dirt, nigga. If I'm in the club.